and welcome to Cooking with Miss Rice. Today we're going to be redoing the custard. While we do still have my other video up, it's a great custard recipe, even with the weird interruption in the middle of the video. I'm going to go and turn that into ice cream at school and realized that the custard I made was too thick for the school's ice cream makers, caused the machine to seize up. It wasn't pretty. So we're going to do a take two on this with a different custard that will come out much thinner and should come out to be a nice consistency. It's also quite delicious, so feel free to make this custard just to have as is. So this particular version has 2 2/3 cup, half and half. Has 2 tablespoons of flour and 2/3 cup of sugar. We're just going to lightly sprinkle that in there. The sugar is what helps make it that lovely sweet flavor that we want for ice cream. And then in this bowl I have 2 eggs and about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm going to go ahead and break up the yolks and pour it in. Now, if you already watched the other video I have, you'll know that one of the things I like to do is avoid the whole tempering issue, because that causes a lot of scrambled eggs. And before I even turn on the heat, I just whisk everything together using the same motions we used when we were making our scrambled eggs. Now at this point, you probably notice, if you're observant, which I know my students are, that we're in a different location than normal. Unfortunately, I ran out of time at school to go and fix the error that I'd made with the custard, and as such had to go and film this at home. So I hope you'll forgive the really funky tile as we go and get this going. Okay, now I've got this whisked to where it looks pretty much done. You may see some spots where there's still some egg, but if you keep whisking and whisk quickly while it's on medium heat, you should be able to keep from getting any scrambled eggs in your custard. That's the danger of doing it this way, and why a lot of people go and swear by tempering. Now what tempering is you heat up the milk first, whisk the eggs and sugar together, have the flour in with the milk, and then you very carefully pour little tiny amounts of the hot milk into the egg and sugar mixture. Problem is that a lot of people still mess this up and still cause the eggs to scramble. I find it very difficult, especially for folks who are still new to this. That's why I prefer my method. Now, keep in mind, my method does not work with all recipes. Feel free to experiment, but be aware you still may get some scrambled egg, and you may have to start practicing your tempering technique. But if you only have 2 eggs and almost 3 cups of milk or dairy of some sort, I find it tends to work pretty well. Now, I'm sure you are wondering, okay, so when is she going to stop whisking? The answer is I'm not. Until this is done, you need to constantly stir this and whisk it. Now, right now, you can see it comes off pretty easy, right? It's just like if it was regular milk. I'm going to keep stirring this until it coats the whisk or the back of a spoon. I can have a spoon handy, kind of dip in and see if it's covering it, like when you make instant Jell-O pudding at home before you put it in the fridge to cool. So let's do a little TV magic here and switch scenes to about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Alright, now back with a little TV magic. We can see this has already gotten nice and thick. We can't tell as easily with the whisk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip this spoon in. And you see how that looks nice and thick like pudding? Oh, and it's even bubbling. This is lovely. So first thing we're going to do, so I'm going to take this and move it off the burner. Now, usually I prefer to use a silicone bowl, but my silicone bowl is in use. So I have a glass bowl that I have warmed up ahead of time. Y'all will still use the plastic bowls you have in class. And I'm just going to very carefully pour this all in. Delicious. I think I'm going to go and get a little bit out from the bottom of this pot after it's past the burn my tongue part. Now at this point you can eat it as is. You can get ready to put it in a pie crust, whatever you like. In our case though, we're going to put this in the fridge here in a minute. And while it's in the fridge, it will cool off overnight. And tomorrow morning it will be ready to turn into ice cream. And that's the part where you guys get to come back in the next video. So, everybody, until next time, happy cooking!